If you've ever been afraid that niching down in your travel business is going to cost you clients, this episode is one you really need to hear. We're going to talk about what a niche is, how to know what your niche is, and how to market your niche. We're also going to really look into another concept along these same lines called specialty, what that is, how you market it, and how you have both. Let's get started. Welcome to the Social Takeoff Podcast, a podcast for travel professionals who are ready to use social media to help their business take off. I'm Kelly Hay Smith, your host. I'm travel agent turned social media marketer who now works with multiple seven-figure travel agencies to help them infuse strategy and create a target social plan. I'll be sharing all of the tips and tricks of the trade, as well as content ideas and trends that you should be using to help grow your travel business. Let's get started. Hey, y'all. When you listen to this, I will be at Walt Disney World on our spring break. And why I love that is the fact that, well, it kind of has something to do with today's episode. So, not completely, because you don't have to. Well, hold on. Let me not get ahead of myself. Okay. Back up, rewind. Is rewind still a thing? I think I just dated myself. Okay. Let's go backward for just a second and start this conversation all over again. It's the second week of March. It's spring break season. I am currently on spring break at Walt Disney World. And I want to talk to you about your niche, because here is something that I have heard a lot of, not so much from my agency owner clients, but more so from their ICs and from ICs or travel agents that follow me on Instagram and Facebook. And something that I get a lot of in my DMs is, I'm afraid to niche down because I'm afraid it's going to cost me clients. If I have a niche, then I can't book everything. Well, number one, don't use the word can't, because you write the rules, number one. But number two, the thing about a niche is it gives you a direction to go in. So your niche is simply I used this exact term last week on the podcast. Okay. A niche is a broad but specific group that you're talking to. So your niche could be a traveler, it could be a destination, it could be a budget, it could be a style. There are so many different things. Like your niche could be family travel. Your niche could be budget-friendly family travel. Your niche could be um, adult-only travel. Your niche could be luxury travel. Your niche could be Europe. Your niche could be international. Your niche could be all of these things. I just named a bunch of them, I know. But your niche could be destination weddings and honeymoons. There's so many things that you can choose as your niche. And it doesn't put you into a box in the sense of it traps you. It actually gives you freedom. And here is why that is so. Okay. When you are talking to everyone, no one is listening. When you are talking and you're speaking so broadly that to try to appeal to everyone, what actually happens is no one feels like you relate to them or that you hear them. Okay. So when you are speaking as a general travel agent, and this is really, I'm going to talk to agency owners at the very end about what this looks like for you. But I am talking about the person actually booking the travel, the person who's physically doing the act of booking and the process of booking. If you are marketing yourself to try to appeal to everyone, everyone is going to feel unrelated to and unheard. It's very, very difficult to speak to everyone in a way where everyone relates. So you have to be able to speak to someone so that you're heard. And what I mean by that is, if it's family travel, then you're able to talk about how to travel internationally with kids and cruising with kids and kids' vacations that adults enjoy too. You can talk about those things, right? Like, or vacations that you can take your kids on that adults enjoy too. Okay. You can talk about that. If you're talking about luxury vacations, you can talk about all destinations and how to make them luxury. Walt Disney World can be a luxury vacation in certain ways. Cruises are obviously a luxury vacation, especially depending on what lines you're booking on or whatever. Adventure travel, you have adventure on cruises, dive trips, safaris, hiking. There are so many different things that you can talk about. So you're not roped into one topic or one traveler. You're really just speaking to someone. So if you plan family travel, does that mean you're never going to get a DM from a couple? Absolutely not. Does that mean that you can't book for anybody except for a family? Absolutely not. What it means is you are clear in your messaging, that you are giving a clear, concise, relatable message to your ideal client and audience. And then if someone else hears that information, that's cool. They may book with you, they may not. But you are having the freedom to speak freely and clearly to the people that you are marketing to. It's the difference in it's marketing without a clear niche, no matter what that niche is wishy-washy almost. Because it's like, well, here for a family, but also for a couple, but also for solo travelers, but also if you want to be on an adventure, but also this, but also that. You can plan adventure travel for families. Your niche may be family travel and you talk about adventure. That's fine. But know how you're talking to them. An adventure for a family is going to look very different than an adventure for two guys in their 20s. And so if you're toting a kid in a backpack up a mountain, the mountain's probably not for all people, but if you're in my life, if you were I'm not going on vacation to hike anyways. I'm sorry. If you can at me on that one on Instagram if you don't like it, but I am not going on vacation to hike. Sorry. No. But like if that's your thing, that's cool, but like for most normal people, if you are going to hike with a kid on your back, it's going to look very different than if you're going to hike just a couple, right? Or if you're hiking with a 3-year-old who wants to walk, you're going to have to be more careful on what type of hiking, what type of trails, and where they are. So you get to really decide how you speak to them in that manner. And the cool thing about a niche is it really helps you begin to build your content strategy because you can really get to know the person or the traveler or the destination. You become the expert, you become the authority, you become the go to person for that niche. And you then get to build your content strategy on that. Well, I am the go-to person. Listen, my niche is travel agents, and I'm gonna like this is my personal story. When I first left the travel industry in 2020, well, I mean, I kind of walked away in 2020 and started doing something else because it was 2020 in the travel industry and I needed to do something else. But at the end of 2020 and 2021, when I left the agency that I was with, I never intended to go back. It was not a great experience with me. I love the travel industry, but the experience that I had as an IC and as an agent was not good. And I had a really bad taste in my mouth, even though I love the travel industry. And I know now how much I love the travel industry. And I'm so glad that I came back to it. But number one, when I first started the marketing part of my business, and I didn't market to travel agents at all. They are who called me. They knew me. They knew I knew the industry and I could do the job really well because I had done the job. But that's not who I marketed to. And it wasn't until I never sold out. My business never sold out. My calendar was never closed. My books were never closed until I niched down to travel agents. And do you know what I told myself? For a year and a half, there won't be enough business for me to create marketing and content just for travel agents. I didn't hit 10,000 followers on Instagram until I niched down to travel agents. I didn't hit almost 2,000 downloads on a podcast until I niched down to just talking to travel agents. And I am completely sold out until June for onboarding new clients, and I only work with travel agents. You know why? My message is extremely clear now. I'm very, very focused on who I'm talking to. So learn from my mistakes. I should have niched down 2 years earlier. I would be 2 years ahead of where I am right now. Live and learn. But you don't have to live and learn because I am telling you, I lived and learned it. Y'all, your niche gives you the freedom and the content strategy that you are able to build from your niche. Marketing with your niche is going to help. It's also going to help if you do paid marketing. If you start to target specific people, you have to know who you're targeting. If you just target all the people in the world, guess what? You're probably not going to hit, like, you just not go. You think that if you throw a stone at a big barn wall, then you'll hit something, right? Maybe. But first off, your leads are probably not going to be quality leads because you're not being specific to what you want. And second off, it's really hard to build a content strategy around everything. Nope, you can't get specific, you can't get purposeful, you can't get focused without a niche. Okay. So we talked about what a niche is, we talked about why you need one, but how do you market your niche? Well, the key to that is answering 3 questions essentially, but we're going to talk about the first one, and that is who, well, not the first one, it's the second one. So the 3 questions are, what do you do, who do you do it for, and how do you do it? We're talking about the second question. Who do you do it for? Now, I talked about this a little bit last week. Talked about it on my Instagram because I just think it's super important. But who do you do it for is this idea that ideal client. So if you have ever been in a mastermind or you've worked before, you may have had an expert tell you that you need to give her a name, or him, but you need to give her a name. You know what kind of car she drives and what color hair she has and what kind of clothes she wears. I don't subscribe to that idea, not even in the least. I don't care what car they drive. I don't care what their name is. I care about how they feel. Again, we talked about this last week, but your niche has a feeling. Even if it's a type of traveler, if it's an adventure traveler, what do they want out of a vacation? If it's family travel, what are they doing? Most likely it's something about making memories, right? Like, it has got something to do with their family. They want to stop and enjoy each other. They want to spend those 18 summers together before the 18 summers are gone. All of those things are valid, but you want to get really, really detailed in what it is that they're feeling. And the only way you can do that is knowing your niche. If your niche is family travel, you know that. If it's adult only travel, that can be anything from like spring breakers to empty nesters, right? But you need to know how they're feeling. What are they wanting out of a travel? And that helps shape the content strategy that you build, because you can create content around topics that speak directly to that. Okay, so that is your niche, why you need it, how you market it. But there's this other idea that I have because I get asked about this a lot. And it is a specialty. So your niche and your specialty are two completely different things. Now, if your niche could be cruises, and what you focus on is cruises, and all you talk about all the time is cruises, or your niche could be family travel and your specialty is cruises. You're an avid cruiser. You plan family travel. You'll plan family travel to an all-inclusive resort in Mexico. You'll plan family travel to Universal Orlando. You'll plan family travel to a national park. But cruises, you're an avid cruiser. It's something that you've done you have extra insight, you've done extra training, you really, really know cruises. And maybe there's 1 or 2 cruise lines. The ones that we talk about the most in my business, not in my I don't have a travel agency, but in the business that I do with clients, we talk about Disney Cruise Line, Royal Caribbean, Princess. Some talk about Norwegian, Virgin Voyages, right? Those, maybe you're a royal specialist, like you've done all the royal ships, you love them, you know everything about it, you consider yourself a royal cruise I can't talk, words are hard, royal cruise line specialist. Maybe you consider yourself that, right? Maybe you're family travel and you specialize in Disney destinations, but you'll do family travel to other places. Those can be specialties. So your niche is not necessarily that destination or a cruise or whatever, but your specialty is, you have extra stuff. Other specialties that you can really start thinking about are things like, um, hold on. Like it just left me. Allergy friendly travel, sorry. Accessible travel, special needs travel, LGBTQ plus travel. There are so many things that are specialties that maybe it's your niche, but maybe it's not your niche. Your niche is a little bit more broad, but you specialize in these destinations. And you can utilize that in your marketing as well without niching all the way down to this little bitty allergy friendly travel where all you ever do is create content about allergy travel, but it's interwoven, it's sprinkled through everything that you do. And you classify yourself when you do a bio, when you talk about yourself as a travel professional, you talk about, and I specialize in this. If it's special needs travel, there is like autism specialty courses and trainings that you can take to be special, to actually be specialized in autism friendly travel. So, like, there are things you can do. And I know a lot of destinations, like, you can be a Hawaii specialist. You can take that directly on the Hawaii Board of Tourism website. There are so many things that you can do to increase your training in certain areas. You can learn more about them. I really suggest that if you are a specialist, you do that. And if you like, if let's say that you have a child who does have food allergies and you are traveling, or you have food allergies even, and you're traveling a lot, and that is something that you deal with on a regular basis, you have a unique insight into that. If you have a child with type 1 diabetes, that type of special needs travel, you have dealt with that. Speak about your experience, about the training that you've taken, speak about the insight that you have, give the firsthand knowledge accounts and tips that you can to that, and interweave that into your content. It may one you may have a post and it doesn't speak at all about your specialty, but then you have a post. Let's say we're talking about, and y'all, when you listen to this, I already said this twice. Can you tell I'm excited to leave? I'm at Walt Disney World. So let's just talk about it. Isn't Disney? And you also know that I'm a Disney AP, have been a long time. I love Disney. So sometimes it always comes back to that. You can use this in whatever your niche and specialty are. But let's say that we're talking about Walt Disney World and you want to create a post about Disney resorts, and you want to mention that a specific resort or all resorts or whatever have a refrigerator in case you need to keep medications in the refrigerator, right? Or you can speak to that. That can just be interwoven. The post doesn't have to be about that, but you can touch on that because it's your specialty. You can do both pieces of those contents. And again, clarify that in your bios and the way that you're speaking about yourself. This is what you specialize in. And really, really embrace that as a specialty. Here's what that's going to do. That is going to make those who also have that need, whether it's special needs, allergy friendly, LGBTQ, or a destination where someone wants to go on a cruise, but they're really nervous because they've never cruised before. They might want to go book with someone who is a specialist in that area. Okay. So that is going to increase the likelihood that people with those special destinations, needs, whatever, plan their vacations with you. But it doesn't pigeonhole you into that tiny niche. So your niche needs to be specific enough that it gives you the person to talk to in the way that gives a clear message and someone feels like they are being related to. Your specialty is an added step, an up level of one type of travel or traveler or something in that effect that allows you to relate even deeper on another level. Now, here's a few things that come to mind when you are looking at your pages. So, your business pages, i.e., your Instagram page or profile, and your Facebook page. Keep sprinkling that niche in there, whether it's through interwoven into a specific piece of content, or it is a piece of content that is specifically about your specialty. Sprinkle that in there. You don't have to do it in every single piece of content that you put out, but make sure that that's there and people understand. But if you have a specialty, a sub specialty, not your niche, but something else, allergy friendly travel, accessible travel, or whatever, a great way to really reach that community would be to start a Facebook group that's specifically for them. Now, before I go any deeper in this, I don't want anyone taking this on until they have the capacity to remain consistent on their other profiles, Instagram, Facebook, whatever profile platform that you are trying to be consistent on. Do not take on another piece until you're consistent there. But once you are and you're ready for something else, a Facebook group dedicated to those travelers would be amazing. But I would host it under your Facebook page for your business. I would not name it your business name. Give it some sort of name to bring in people from other areas and really create a community around that traveler, around that destination, whatever. That is your specialty. I'm going to create a community around my specialty, and I'm going to nurture that community, and it will grow. And I think that that is a really good way to help give yourself some really good places to have content. Go live in that group. Talk about, like, when you're traveling, give specifics on a group there. Like if you're traveling to Universal Orlando and you need to find a place to keep your medications cold throughout the whole day, how did you do that? Go live and share that. Okay. Things like that. You need, what types of travel are accessible? What types of, flights, no, airlines, that's the word I'm hunting. What airlines are the most accessible? What cruise lines are the most accessible? What hotel chains are the most accessible? Things like that. You can really focus in on hardcore. You can scratch the surface of it on your profiles and then invite people for more information. Join our group that's dedicated specifically to this topic and get people in that group. That's a really good way to embrace that specialty. Also, using close friends on Instagram is another way to do that. Close friends is story only, but you can post like live stories of, yourself talking or showcasing things while in destination on your stories. You can also create like story slide posts that would go up that would only be for those close friends. So that's another option to really embrace that specialty even further. Okay, so I hope after you have listened to this, you have a greater understanding of your niche, why you need it, and what specialty you should have if you should have one. If you don't have one, it's not going to hurt your marketing, okay? You're not going to be hurt because you don't have that specialty. You don't need a specialty. If you have that special subgroup that you want to focus to, this is a great way to build that into your content strategy, okay? So it doesn't need it, but I hope you have a better understanding and idea of what it looks like to have this now. As I mentioned earlier, yeah, I'm going to say it again. I am on spring break. So if you are DMing me or emailing me or commenting on things this week, it's going to be slower. I'm not off, but I'm not working normal hours. So I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And last reminder, I would like to say I feel certain that registration has opened, but as of recording this, I don't have an exact date when registration will be open. But if you are in the Careers on Vacation community, meaning you are a student or a graduate of Careers on Vacation, or you're in the Wanderlust CEO or a graduate of the Wanderlust CEO program, my live event is taking place next month at COV headquarters in Orlando. We're going to be going in destination to Disney's Magic Kingdom. I'm going to teach you how to build a content strategy. We are going to go in depth on creating your content strategy, your client, writing out your client journey. We are going to talk in depth about how those things really teach you what kind of content to capture. And then we're going to teach you how to put it all together, how to build that content, how to create it. And then before you leave our event, you are going to have a really good understanding of how to create it, and you're going to have a chance to schedule it. And you should have enough time to schedule up to a month of content while you're at the retreat. It's going to be amazing. So if registration's open, you will know that by checking your group. So Careers on Vacation Mastermind Group, COV Grad Group, as well as Wanderlust CEO Group. The registration links will be there, or you can DM me for more info and I'll get them to you. All right, y'all, have a great rest of your week. Check out 5 Things Friday that will come up this Friday, and I'll talk to y'all soon. Thanks for listening to this episode of the Social Takeoff Podcast. Make sure to leave us a review below and come find me on Instagram at Kelly Hayes Smith and let me know what you thought of this week's episode. Make sure to check back every Friday for a bonus episode 5 Things Friday, and every Tuesday for a brand new episode. We'll see you soon. Thanks for listening to this episode of the Social Takeoff Podcast. Make sure to leave us a review below and come find me on Instagram at Kelly Hay Smith and let me know what you thought of this week's episode. Make sure to check back every Friday